Welcome to Instructional Design Live. I'm Brittany Brown O'Donnell, and I'm streaming today from work. Hopefully that won't be too much of a distraction. I don't have a lot of work going on today. It's pretty quiet. So I'm going to switch over to the content capture, and then I will quickly hide this OBS screen because I'm not working with my normal 2-monitor situation today. Okay, so the project I'm working on today is an open online resource for adult basic education. And I have some project constraints. This is a service project. So it needs to be for adult education, and most of these learners are looking primarily for job opportunities or feel the need to help their children with homework, or are international and English is their second language, and so they want to learn literacy. So as I said, again, preparation for high school, English as a second language, and workforce education. So this is just some documents I put together from our project constraints. So the information we were given is very training and traditional education oriented, working to get a better job, become economically stable, and is valued by the adult seeking out the education because they recognize they have a need for it. These aren't students who are compulsory in education because they are of a certain age. These are people who've usually dropped out and are coming back to get an education. So the main things I've taken away from the more descriptive project background on the learners that I received was that there needs to be a respect for individuals. A lot of times they're ashamed of their abilities or lack thereof, and so we need to respect them as individuals. They do have experiences, and those experiences are valuable and valued, and I want to make sure I incorporate that into whatever I design, and stress to them that everything they do is learning, that they may not have had formal education, but there are many things they know how to do and have learned along the way. They aren't failures. There's no such thing as failures. It's always a chance to grow and move on. Hey! And then the other constraints we have for this service project is that the course needs to be either face-to-face materials or blended. Most of the adult education available resources are not online because most of those adults don't have consistent access to the internet or don't have high-speed internet or things like that. So face-to-face or maybe blended if you're lucky. And the instruction needs to be designed to target knowledge and skills to be career or college ready, and focus on authentic context, problem solving, and tasks, which is my favorite kind of instruction. I prefer to do everything authentic to I hate using real world, but authentic to lived experiences. That these people are looking for. Now, the service project Learner analysis gave a wide variety of options for learners. Adult education learners come in a very wide variety of circumstances and needs, and so I really don't want to approach this from one particular path. This will be an open educational resource, so it will be available online for instructors to take and give to their students, their learners, but I don't necessarily want to approach it from a instructor delivered place. I would rather be learner oriented, especially because the learners are coming from such diverse needs and places and desires. So I'll type that out. I can't type and talk at the same time. Not teacher focus. And that should hopefully work well in a lot of the adult education settings where they may be in a whole group, but they're all doing different things. So that's kind of the approach I want to take with these learners, and I very much want to value what they do already know, their experiences. Does there have to be a face-to-face component? Yes. According to the project guidelines that the client is seeking out, there has to be a face-to-face. It can either be face-to-face or blended, but no online only, which is new for me. I've mostly done online only learning construction, so yeah, it kind of surprised me at first too. And so my first thought was a lot of this has to do with illiteracy and low math skills, and I'm not going to approach the math section because I am terrible at math. I don't need to make that worse for anybody else, but I really want this to be accessible, and so I was thinking if it was online, to have both written text and audio text that they could listen to as they work through reading it. Since it's not online, I'm considering doing something similar and making the recording available for download that a instructor or counselor or someone could download and then share with their clients on some sort of device that doesn't need the internet, kind of as a read-as-you-go thing. I really want to keep accessibility in mind. Oh. And I can't type. And I'm actually kind of excited about this project because what I do at work is kindergarten through 8th grade career counseling and career materials, and I make things for kindergartners through 8th graders and career counselors. And career education is not my preferred field or my favorite field, but I feel like I at least have a decent little background in that. And I always try and spin the activities I do for students into what this career boils down to, what's the essence of it, rather than what's content specific. And I know adult education, these people are seeking out content, but they're also looking for a better future, and I think part of that is breaking down barriers to what is accessible to them. they might think, I use scientists a lot as an example, they might think being a scientist is out of their reach, but scientist really is a few core things. Someone who questions, someone who tests those questions, and someone who shares those questions with and those responses with others. And so the content can kind of fill in as you go. I'm very practically oriented and constructivist most of the time. And so I'm trying to keep that in balance with knowing the limitations that this course can be used in. They might not have a lot of access to actually go out there and intern or practice in spaces. Yes, exactly. Based on real life experiences rather than around the information. Especially because content is always changing, in my opinion. Sure, there's some basic things that are the same, but it makes far more sense to do what works, and that can be different for a lot of people. I'll write that down. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be the same, it doesn't have to be prescriptive. I know personally I'm dyslexic, so while I'm quite literate being a PhD student and I love reading, what works for some people to learn how to read doesn't work for me. I never was able to do phonics. You can't ask me to sound out a word, I can't do it. It just doesn't click in my brain, and so I think it's really important to stress what you're doing is not wrong. Just because the traditional education system didn't work for you doesn't mean you don't work in the world. You will find a way to do things. And that itself is a huge thing. My brain stopped there for a second. And definitely, Ladonna, some real challenges that they'll face, and maybe thinking about those in more abstract ways. So, the whole GED push kind of bothers me, because I even made a note up here in my in my background. It was really stressed that they're working for a GED because you need a GED to get the job. But a lot of what's covered in high school and proving that you can go through high school, you really don't need to get a job, right? If you have those skills, regardless of whether you went to high school or not, you should be employable. And I know that I'm not going to change the entire system by believing that, but I would like to give the learners some perhaps emotional support, that they can do things that they've been going for this long, surviving in the world, making their way, that they are competent, and they maybe just need to look at things from a different angle, or find a company that will work with them. I know from personal family things, my dad got his GED instead of finishing high school, and I know that did limit the amount of careers people can get, and same without furthering education. My mom finished high school and had a limit on the careers she could get as well, but frankly, I'm also a doc student who doesn't have has a brighter career future now that I switched fields, but can't do anything with my master's, so you gotta just find things that, make them work for you. I feel like I'm really getting off on the tangent here. So, just to make some more notes, gonna put them under accessibility. Gonna have possible audio plus text. Materials. I'm probably not the best person for English as a second language learners, just because I myself mumble a lot and don't have the best oration. Is that the word? But I think having the audio and text materials will help. Let's see. And the value in current knowledge and experiences and learner orientation, I might borrow some ideas from work on skills inventories. That we do for the rising middle schoolers. But I don't want it to be academically focused. I really want to think about how those situations are used in daily life. Like, you might be really bad at math, but you're great at making change. Or things like that. I'm good with money. Or if you have to count on your fingers, it's okay. I count on my fingers. That's fine. Let's see. And so, with it being a requirement to be face-to-face, I need to make sure I have a... Oh, let me scroll. Oh, a skills inventory. My work does hold on, let me bring up Virginia Career View, and we do like different searches. See all my stuff. This is a who are you inventory. So this is finding about your likes and dislikes, and it relates it back to career clusters. And so it has you check off things you like and don't like, and at the end of it shows you all the career clusters that are appropriate. We also have we have some other ones too, but mostly just like what are strengths you have. I think they've got some over here. Oh, that's that one. I'm not going to stay on their website too long. This isn't an advertisement for my work, but they're just kind of like checklists that you can use to orient yourself and frame your abilities. Because these are adult learners who probably have had problems finding jobs without a GED, I might build in some of the resume type. Oh yeah, reflection-based activities, definitely. And I might include a simple like resume. I moved my computer, sorry. Hey. Reference sheet that they can use their skills inventory to kind of fill out, so that even if they don't quite yet have their GED or something like that, they can still have this list of these skills that they hadn't really thought of in daily life that they can use to show employers what they actually are capable of. Sorry you won't be around for much longer, Jason, but I did actually remember to push the record button this time, I think. So hopefully I will have a copy to put up on YouTube. And I don't think I'll be going much longer either, because my brain is pooping out. Let's see. So I focused. I had something else. I really tried not to think of too many things until I was streaming, so that I could capture this process live. But there was something else I focused on. Instructor guide. Since it is face-to-face, I need to include an instructor guide on how to use the resources that I make. And how to support the learners who are using them, because I do want these materials to be very learner-oriented and not teacher-oriented. No. So I think that's mostly it for the first live stream. I will continue on as I work on this project more, and I'll try and capture all my work on it live, even if it's messy, like this was. So that's what it's all about. This it's not polished. This is just my process and working through ideas, and it's iterative and it's messy, and that's okay. So thank you for stopping by, and thank you if you watched the recording, and I hope to talk to you again soon.